Okay, drawing 12, truncated square to round. So we're truncated on both ends on this one. So we're not going to be able to rotate this down flat, so we're going to have to leave it as is for here. We have a full front view, a full plan view, and a side view over here, so we can get a true length of this edge over here. So we got quite a bit of drawing to do, so we better get to it here. Let's have a look at the drawing that I've already started. I still have lots to do, but let's just double check here. So we're 10 millimeters up for a baseline. I'm going to go 5 millimeters over here for vertical. Keep it real tight to the left. We're going to go 55 to center, just like the drawing. And we're 95 from the center to the other side. We have a 30 millimeter rise. That'll be the same as this view over here. We have a 30 millimeter rise here off of this width, and this will give us our true length as we start to build our pattern. We'll be able to fit one pattern here. We'll have to do another pattern on the other side, other paper. True length diagram. We're going to be able to do one here, and we're going to have to come off these two heights here for our true length diagram. So the height for this corner will be this corner will be this corner, will come off of here, and then the lower corners. This one here I'm just going to go 80 millimeters over, and we're going to use this height here, and we are going to have quite a few different heights because over here. So we've kind of done something like this before, but this is a combo. Okay, we're 85 millimeters from here to center. We have the 30 millimeter radius, so 60 diameter, and that's same with the top here. Okay, so a full layout here just as the page is, just like this. And then we're going to divide these half circles up, so the same as we always do. Take your radius, divide that up. Same with this one over here, divide that up. We'll number all those after. Okay, so, and we'll talk about this pattern after here as well. So let's bring all these lines, and this is 30 degrees, so this is going to hit 30, so it'll be perfectly on center for this one. So let's bring these down to the sloping surface. That one. This one, I guess I will number these later after. There's not a lot of numbering here. No, there is, but it's just easier to do it after. Okay, there's all our true heights. So this is what's going to happen over at your true length diagram. So it doesn't matter if we do this now or later. There's the bottom one. Next one up. Next one up. Not sure if it's worth, I guess you could just bring a line all the way over, or just number it over on the other side. I'm just going to do the center one, just because I can always count back from the center one. There. So that would be our, obviously, usually our 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, 7. Pretty simple from there. Okay, so this is hitting here. We need to bring this up. Okay, nothing comes off this half moon here. Everything comes off the sloping side. I don't like my 30-60, so I'm going to use my 45 here. Just doesn't lay very flat. It's a little bent. Okay, right off the sloping surface and all the way up. To do that for each one, and this will create the top view of this shape here. And then we can get our true lengths for our true length diagram, just creating those triangles. Metal fabrication, everything's triangles. Anything with building, You can always put triangles inside of circles, triangles inside of squares. Okay, so we're going to bring all these over as well. Okay, all off of here. This all comes off the half round here. We want to make sure we grab every one. We don't want to forget one, otherwise our little graphing system will go sideways. I went all the way to the end. I guess I don't really have to. Just to this last line would be good. Until I went a little further than necessary. I want to try to keep my page a little cleaner, that's all. A little less lines. We've got enough lines already, we don't really need any more. Like that there. That's why they built the eraser. Let's just rub these couple extra lines out that I don't need. Alright, not too bad. Okay, the numbering. Doesn't really matter on the numbering. I'm going to go A here for this one. I'm going to start at A. And then where's the dots here? So let's just connect the dots. So we got obviously got a dot or connection, intersection on the outside and center. So down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and then you're outside, right? Center, center here. Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and we're on center. Over 1 up 1, over 1 up 1, and then center, center. Makes sense, right? Simple, because this one connects with that one. It has to be that one. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And then perfect. Okay. Now we can number these. So A. So I'm going to go A. I'm going to go B. I'm going to call this C. Really won't need this C. We'll come off these corners, but you can always do a double check over here. I'll show you after. B, C, D. We'll go with E here. F, G, and H. We'll go with 1. I know last time we numbered it like a clock, but well, let's keep A with 1. So A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 and 7, always pretty popular. 8, 9, 10. 10 and 4 as we usually do. 11 and 12. Okay, simple as that. Okay, let's go ahead and start grabbing these. So let's, we're going to do this pattern over here. So let's do, we're going to need E7 for a height. These two outside ones. It's not really going to be a true length here for this one. Because it's coming off a center, so we're not going to be able to grab this C4 here. So C4 will actually be down here, and then it'll be traveling across. So we're not going to worry about those ones. So let's go ahead and grab E7. Also, which one's which? So this flips down to here, so this has to be F. This has to be H, right? That flips down. This has got to be D, and this has to be B. So it's very important on which line that we put that on. So all the F's and our E7 will go there. Our seam, we're going to put our seam right through A to E. So 1 through 7. That's what we're going to do for that. E7, and then all the F's will be longer. So we'll have to, yeah, so we're going to have to get all 4 of these. That's a little bit of the difference from the last one, so we just have an extra one to grab. Just going to see how close these are. So F7, It's not, yeah, so it doesn't look like it'll be too crowded. F7. We have F8. And just make sure to write each one down. 9 is only going to be a little bit longer. You want to go up on that one. And F10. You want to go up on that one as well. Okay, let's grab H over here. So we're going to need the H10 over here on this side. Oh, so bottom corner, and we're going to keep everything on the left because the left. Over here. So we'll go H10. I know it's a little hard for you to see down there. And basically, how tight are these going to be? So it's not a square, but it's a rectangle. But it looks like 12 will be ever so slightly longer than the 11. So I'm just going to add another millimeter. I'm going to go H11. I'll put a little line up to this one. H12. Pretty close. And then we're way over to H1. Mark up on this one. H1. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do B here. So we're B1. So B, you're down below because you're at the back. So B1. And then how close are these ones going to be? So that's the, no, this will be the longest one. Nice to double check ahead of time just to see how crowded you're going to be, how you're going to lay things out. B2. Obviously a long process here. I didn't want to do too much ahead. You know, I could have done all this ahead of time to save a whole bunch of time here, but I thought, well, let's just go step by step here. It's kind of the whole part of these videos. You can follow along. Okay, that's over there. Again, we won't worry about C4 now, we'll see that after. And if we miss something, we'll just go back and get it. It's not a big deal, not going to fret over that. Okay, D4, making sure you're coming off the D at the top here. And this again, so pretty close in length. The 6 is going to be pretty close for that one. 7 will be a little bit longer. I'm just going to mark up on this one, D4. And D5. I'm going to mark up here on this one as well. 5. And we have D6 and 7. 7 will be the longest one. I'm going to have to mark down on this one. Just because the line gets crowded, right? And then 7 all the way up here. And we're almost done here, and we're ready to start laying out here. Okay, so over here on this view, I guess we can almost say this is F, let's see, yeah, F and D. And over here we can call this H and B. So we're going to bend this so it's like, we're going to bend it up. So we're going to put G and H over here. I've already gone ahead because I have a template so I know how it's going to fit. And I moved this over as much as we could so you can see there's only, 5 to 10 mil, 5 millimeters here between these. So pretty close. This has the 30 millimeter rise, just like this over here, 30 millimeters. It's that wide, so this would then become a true length down here. We're going to take this distance here, because this would then be C here. So H to C. We're going to take that distance, looks like 46, 47. We're going to put C here, and we want to bend it that way, so we're going to put H here. Now this line here, I just came off the top of this true length diagram. Okay, true length diagram's 10 mil up, then we have our 30 here, and then to the top. So this will fit over here. This one here, for center, about 95 millimeters over. From the edge of the page to C, 95. Just so we can fit that in there. From C to H on the slope, we get about 47. From C to the other side, F over here, we have about 63 and a bit. Okay, 63 and a bit here. So there's F. Okay? Okay, so now it's just plug and play from here. We're going to need that slope length on the top, I guess. So if we have 60, or the arc length I should say, times pi, calculator here, 60 times pi, we get 188.5, divide that by 12, we got 15.7. That's our arc length. Okay, so we need from F10 and H10. So F10 over here. So here's the next thing, is this coming down here. So we have 4. This top one over here is going to be 4. So we have 4 here. The next one down is going to be 3 and 5. And then we have 2 and 6. And then we have 1 and 7. And then we have 12 and 8. And then we have 11 and 9. And down at the bottom we have 10. Just barely fits that in there. Okay, so super important that you're grabbing the right one. So we want F10, you have to go to 10. So F10 here to 10 here. Because this here is on this side over here. So this would be the lower portion. That's what we're trying to get to, right? So we're coming up here, F10. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So F10 over here. I'm going to strike a fairly big arc because this is going to be sloping. H10. H10 there. And then up to 10. Okay, it's going to rub off a little bit of that construction line. And we have 10 here. Okay, now you can see we're on our way here. Okay, so we need 15.7. And we'll just lock this one in. There we go. And we're going to mark this on either side. And obviously it'll have a funny different shape coming up, so we don't kind of really know which way it's going to go here to start, but we're sloping this way and then we'll get going up here. Okay, so we're looking for F9. So go to F9 here, and then you're going to 9. So the second one up from the bottom. F9. I'm going to mark that right away for a 9. And then H11. Yeah, this one's a long one. It's a pesky one, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to step off here again. On the 11 there. That'll be heading that way. Okay, we're going to F8. F8 here, and then all the way to 8. So make sure you adjust to the right line there, otherwise your heights are going to be off. There's your 8. And again, mark every time. There's 8. 11, looking for H12. That's that one that's just a little bit further over. 11. There's H12. And this doesn't take too long once we kind of get going here. 12. Step off one more time, and then this one's almost done. And then I'll just use another piece of paper that I have. I'll use the same true length diagram as well. H1. H1 here. Go up and find 1. We're working our way up here. H1. Oop, almost didn't get that one. Right there. That one jumped up a bit. Just moving some of those lines there. Just identify that one. F7. F7 here. Up to F7. There we go. So that's done there. We need to F to E now, and then we'll need that E7. So F to E, because we're building these little wings on here. And we'll talk about what's square and what's not square here in just a moment. So I'm going to pretty big arc there, and HA will be the same as well. Again, let's put a pretty big arc there. 7E. E7, we got to go to 7. Up to 7. And then we're coming down from 7 to E. right there. Okay, here's E. And then 1 to A. Did we put that one on there? That should have been down here on this line. It's not. And like I said, if we forget to do something, we'll just move it down. Some of you guys might have noticed that at the beginning. That's an A1. And we're going to 1. A1 to 1 there, and then we're coming down. There we go. That's A. We want to square these up. And this is, again, always the deciding factors. If you done something correctly, everything should line up square. I'm pretty happy with that. That looks good. Yeah, same with the other side over here. How'd we do? That one might be a little bit off, eh? Okay, I'm just going to cheat it a little bit then. It looks a little short. No, it's a little long, sorry. Actually, I'm going to slide over on E here. Oh, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. That's pretty good. Pretty far away here because of the camera, so hard to see. Okay, cool. Let's just do a little bit here, and then we'll just talk about the next one, get going on the next one here. And I'm just going to snake that in here, and we'll just do a few things. Complete this one up. And connect the dots the best you can. That looks pretty close. There we go. Now let's talk about this sloping square side here. So let's put these two element lines on here from F to 10. And we'll talk about C10 here, this sloping one. So the C10 here, this true length. Oh, I put, sorry, that should be a G here. It's a G, sorry, CG. G10, you could do a G10, and what you could do is take this height here, come off the bottom. So you could take this height here, it looks like it's about 13. You could come 13 off the bottom here. Bring this line over from 13 up, because that would be that location. You could bring this through, and you could take this G10 and put it on this line G10, measure up to G10, and that G10 should be that length. So that's just a double check, okay? Simple as that. So that's what this would be, and that's why this line's here, and that's what's going on there. EFG. Sorry about that on the C there. Just saw the C over here and went with it. Okay, I'm just gonna a little bit of this here, and then we'll mark things up here. The same bend on this one, just because we have the same amount of divisions. Nothing's really changed here on this one. This would be a center line. So again, just go off your sheet there. Getting used to this by now, I hope. And this is truncated, eccentric, square to round. It's quite a mouthful. We're in drawing number 12 here, and then we just have our shear lines here. Shear, shear, and shear. We're going to have our tabs up top as always. The pressure brake doesn't run off. We're going to have a burn line at the top here. We got some bend lines here. This will be 90 down here, 90 degrees. These will be the same at 15. That shares the middle. And you can do a little neater job than that, but that's what that is. Okay, so we're going to do the next one. You can check the template on that one. This one's actually backwards, so I'll have to flip it over. I'll do a reverse when I give you guys the template. This one here, we're going to go on to the next one. So for this one here, I'm just going to put it over top. We'll put the 4 right there. And what I'll do is I'll just tape that on, just like that. And then we'll just go ahead and use the same true length diagram. And it should stay on the page here. Shouldn't be too high. I'm just lining that page up there so it lines up. This one won't be too hard. It's exactly the same as the other one. So this one here is not quite in the center of the page. I just went 10 millimeters up for a baseline. These pages are 430, so I just went 215 to center. That'll work for that. We want to, actually maybe I shouldn't have taped the top on. We want to bend this up, so we're gonna go, we'll go A, B, C, D. So B, C, this one will be C. And then we'll put B over here on this side. So we'll have to flip the page here. Oh, sorry, that's the seam there. So C, and then B. Yeah, C, yeah, B down that side there. So on the sloping side, right? So it's back to the same as we've done before. So we need to take the C to B. C to B, same as we did on the last one. And then we need to flip this over just so we can get that C to D. Big drawing. C to D. And I think that's almost all we're going to need off of there. Until we do the little wings off on the side. Okay, so what is that middle number? 4. So we're going to do B4 and D4. So B4. So everything's over here. So B4. This is the long, very long one off the top here. And down to B4. So B4 to B4 here. Make sure you're accurate. I'm going to do a big arc. I'm not sure which way it's going. D4. It's actually going to be a shorter one, so it's going to be more over that side. I better go a little further. Coming down. D4. Yeah, we're right off the top here. Sorry, just wanted to double check there. D4. This is 4 up here. A little bigger than need be on the arc, so that's why I put it in pretty light. And we can still see that on the page, so that's a good thing. We're going to take this same radius. B's on this side, we're bending this way, we're going to 3. So B3, B3 down below, up to 3. So from 3 on the true length there, on the height, and then down to B3. As always, mark every time. And then we got D, and we're going to 5. D5. And we're stepping off. This one's going to be pretty flat on the top, I think. Okay, we're going to B2 because we're just working through the numbers here. And we'll end up at 1. So B2. There's 2. We got D6. D6 here. Coming off the same 2 and the 6. D6. There. And we only have one more step out, and then the little wings on the side. Always do the arc a little bit bigger than necessary. So D7 here. Oh, barely have to adjust my dividers on that one. Nice. Okay, D7. Up we go. Going to 1, so B1 here. Off the 1 there, the 1 and the 7, so B1. And there's 1. Okay, so the square wings coming out, we need to go from B to A. That's on the drawing, you can just set your dividers to the ruler, but I'm just going to set mine to here. And that'll be the same as the other side. So B, we're out looking for A, and D, we're looking for E. Okay, this is where we're going to need that. We're coming over, we got the A1. We got 1, we need the A. So here's the A1. Again, this is up to the 1 and the 7. From the 1, we're going to come down and find A, because that's going to match up to the other pattern. It's got to be the same length. It's A, and then E7 over here, because we're looking for E. Nope. And adjust that to E7. There we go. Okay, let's see how we did. Or I did. Hey. Happy on that one. Very good. And not bad on that one either. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe a millimeter short there, but I'll go with it. You're going to snake that in. You just barely see, there's the top there. Just fits on the camera there. This is pretty flat. Let's just go ahead and get this put in here. Looks like there's a little bump at 2, but just smooth that in there. That's pretty good. Happy with that. And again, we can talk about the center here, just on the C4. You can always double check that length as well. Just coming off this line here, and you could do a C4 coming off of here. So C4, could put a C4 on this line that's 13 millimeters up. Could do a C4 and then check up to 4 for that length here. And again, that's just this offset here, which gives you that length here at this location. That's all that does. It's not necessary, but if you wanted to double check. I know if I was laying out something expensive and big, I would. Even though this is a pretty odd shape, and chances of coming across something like this is, might be once in a lifetime for some. But when you come across it, it'd sure be nice to be able to do it. So triangulation is not that very difficult. Just where do you, should be 90-90. Little tab here again. Nice to be able to do something, right? Take a lifetime to do everything. Okay, and then, oh, we got a C to 4 here. And then we're almost done. We'll check it with the template, and then away we go. We have a center line. Again, just the same. I'm just going to put your name. Date. This one here is I'm just going to short form this one, truncated, eccentric, square, round, going 12. It's a half pattern. There's some center lines on there. Some bend directions. You can even, you're gonna have to make a pattern for this. Form up to 60. Could be something as well if you put that into the top. Otherwise, you're 15, 30, 30, 15, and 15, 30. Depends how much direction you want to give the press brake operator. Most people know what's going on. Okay, and then just a double check here. It's a pretty big one. I put mine was the other way, so we'll just have to flip that over. Check with that. Just because I wanted to bend that up. Just obviously it's nicer, easier. Let's put a little up here. Up and up. Easier to bend up, and you don't have to bring everything over to the other side. So, okay, that's a big one. Okay, good luck. Okay, drawing 12 there.